Let's look ahead to Thursday in the NBA. There are 8 games on. Who do we stream in? What's on our radar? Yeah, Victor Wembanyama is out. So, Michael Bolton, are you filling in?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and the key to a healthy life is a big dose of vitamin D. Vitamin D's nuts. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. We'll start the season with a big return with FanDuel. Win your first $5 bet and get $150 in bonus bets. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. And also LockedOnDaily.com is where you can find the newsletter for your favorite team, the best newsletter, all the information across the old information superhighway for your favorite team delivered to your inbox. That is LockedOnDaily.com. We are here to cover off the action for Thursday with 8 games on. We've got the NBA Cup schedule basically sorted. Now, there are going to be the teams that are in those quarterfinals. If they lose, when they play is not certain. Right? That's the only difference that we don't know. So for some of these teams, when we talk about scheduling, we know what happens if they win. The semifinals are on Saturday. But if they lose, they could be playing either Sunday or Monday. We just don't know at this point. So, yeah, be aware that is a thing that is happening. Let's talk about this action. Like I said, Thursday's games in the NBA. We'll start off by just checking out what is on my radar across these 8 games. We've had a few little injury updates pop through as of late. So let's get into the games. The first one we look at is Dallas and Washington. And Dallas is one of those teams that is in the NBA Cup. So their schedule's a little bit unknown as we move forward. What we do know is this week they play Thursday, Saturday. And then next week they play Tuesday, which is quarterfinal day. And I've got Sunday there. That's assuming they lose, they play on Sunday. If they win the game on Tuesday, they play on Saturday. Yes? Washington goes Thursday, Saturday, Sunday this week into Friday, Sunday next week. You'll be shocked to know that they are not in the NBA Cup knockout rounds. Dante Exum is out, and I believe, Najee Marshall was questionable, but I believe he has been ruled out now. So I think we've got that news for Najee. Just double checking that I believe he has been officially ruled out. Kyle Kuzma is out. Corey Kispert got ruled out. Keyshawn George got ruled out, but Malcolm Brogdon is not out. He is questionable. I thought they were all on the doubtful side, but we've got no George, no Kispert, but Brogdon is in. So that does impact a little bit of the Bub Carrington stuff. So what am I watching for in Dallas? Well, Derek Lively played 1 million minutes last game. Is that what we're going to now, Jason? Are we going to 30 minutes of Lively and 18 of Gafford, or are we going to go back to a 25 situation? That's key, right? We want to watch that. For the Wizards, Jordan Poole has dropped off immensely. What I want to see is Poole's minutes, but also how they're running this rotation with now no George, no Kispert. They're probably going to have to play a lot of Poole and a lot of Carrington. Does this mean more Valanciunas? I'm not sure. Grimes is probably the streamer in Dallas, especially with Marshall out, but we've had some big games from Dinwiddie. I wouldn't feel super confident with any of them, but that's probably the direction we go. And I do have Carrington there as the Wizards guy. It would have been better if Brogdon was out, but there is no George and no Kispert. So that does help, and you'll get some random like Anthony Gill type moments, I'm guessing a little bit there, which doesn't matter for most of us. The second game of the day also involves a team in the NBA Cup knockout rounds. It's Denver going to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Denver plays Thursday. Oh, actually, hang on. Did I just make that up? I did make that up. My bad. Denver is not involved. Scratch that. They are not involved. Denver, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday this week, and then they only play Friday next week. 1 game next week for Denver. What a huge gap that is. 1 game. Cleveland is literally exactly the same. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday into Friday is the Cleveland Cavaliers schedule. So just gigantic gaps for both of these teams. That, of course, you need to be aware of and plan that out. Now, depending on what your league is, you might have a very, very bad week 8 looking. We know that Yahoo combined 7 and 8 into one week 7 matchup. If you're in the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl, I combined 8 and 9 into one matchup. But some of you, ESPN, will have individual week 8s. And if you do have an individual week 8, well, good luck with that, because you have got a team playing 3 and 10 teams playing 1. Cool. That's cool. And two of those teams playing one are Denver and Cleveland with the one game. Aaron Gordon's listed probable. Cool, he'll play. He played 32 minutes last game. Max Strus is out. Ty Jerome, old milk himself, he is questionable with an illness, but we escaped the issue there with Darius Garland. He's fine. He's in. He's not even on the injury report. So even a stream of LeVert and Jerome doesn't really make sense. For the Nuggets, I do want to watch Aaron Gordon because his shooting numbers have been extremely elevated this season. I want to see what his minutes look like. Again, he played 32 last game. Is he a 35 guy? Like they're pumping those minutes into Jokic? And what does his shooting look like? Well, for the Cavs, Jarrett Allen continues to have some struggles. I want to see if that holds, where we sort of value him as we move forward. In terms of stream guys, it probably is still Peyton Watson. You could throw Julian Strawther in there for Denver, or Russell Westbrook as another guy. And then Karis LeVert and Ty Jerome are the guys to look at for the Cavs, of course, though with Garland playing, that value of those stream guys there for Cleveland is obviously, and maybe it's not as obvious, but it is reduced. This is the game. This is the next one there where we've got an NBA Cup team involved. We've got the Thunder and the Raptors going to Toronto. The Thunder are 8.5-point favorites in this game. They play Thursday, Saturday this week, Oklahoma City. And then next week, it is Tuesday, Sunday, but it also might be Tuesday, Saturday. We just don't know. If they lose, they play Sunday. If they win, they play Saturday. Toronto goes Thursday, Saturday this week into Monday, Friday next week. So they've got 2 games next week. Who's out? Chet's out. Jalen Williams is out. Pig Williams, that is the big one. Usman Jeng is out. I don't believe we've got an Alex Caruso update just yet. No, he's missed a bunch of games with his hip, so I'll put him questionable, but I don't know. Olynyk is out. Quickly is out. Bruce Brown is out. But the big fella, the prestige penis, grade A dick, is questionable. I want to watch Cason Wallace because his minutes have been way up for the Thunder, and 30 minutes a night of Wallace is at least streamable in 12-teamers. Does Caruso returning impact that? Or do they just cut other guys out and they just fully lean into 30 minutes of Wallace? It's something for us to watch. For the Raptors, I want to watch Scotty Barnes because his last week has been awesome. Where does the shooting fit? How can he maintain this improved level? Because he had some struggles early on. And that's more just sort of how we're valuing Barnesy as we move forward. In terms of streams, it probably is Lou Dort, but I could easily make the argument for Cason Wallace on the Thunder side of things. And then for the Raptors, it's Ochai Agbaji, but his value will drop significantly if Grady Dick does play, because Abaji's been starting in place of Dick, and if Dick is there, then we don't really need to worry as much about Ochai Agbaji. The next game is the Charlotte Hornets and the New York Knickerbockers. In terms of the schedule here, the Knicks are 14-point favorites. The Hornets play Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they only play Friday next week. Whereas the Knicks is very interesting. They play Thursday, Saturday this week, and then they play Monday, which is not a part of the NBA Cup. They got this random game on Monday, which is Toronto, New York, and then they play Wednesday as part of their quarterfinal. And then we don't have any real idea as to when their game would be, because if they win their semifinal, if they win their quarterfinal, they play on Saturday. If they lose their semifinal, if they lose their semifinal, they could play on Sunday. But also, if they lose their semifinal and the Bucks also lose their quarterfinal. So if the Knicks lose their quarterfinal and the Bucks lose their quarterfinal, well, that the Knicks-Bucks game will be the Monday, the week after. So the Knicks could have Monday, Wednesday, Saturday next week. They could have Monday, Wednesday, Sunday next week, or they could have just Monday and Wednesday. We just don't know. That could be, it's annoying. Who's out? LaMelo Ball is out, Trey Mann is out, Miles Bridges is out, Mitchell Robinson is out, and Precious Achiuwa is out. So a lot of the same guys. Cody Martin is something I'm going to watch in Charlotte. He played big minutes last game. I don't know whether that's a real thing that's going to hold or not, but it did happen, so he's at least considerable there. And for the Knicks, Josh Hart shooting, Josh Hart shot location, Josh Hart assist opportunities. These are all things that have been awesome for him, and I want to see whether that holds or not. I am looking at Vasa Micic as the Hornets stream, but you could look at KJ Simpson, you could look at Tijan Salan in that scenario. Just make sure that Nick Richards and Mark Williams are both rostered. And then for the Knicks, it's just always going to be Juice McBride, I'm guessing, and I talked about him pretty much at length on the Waiver Wire show earlier today. We've got more games to cover, which we'll come back to in a sec, but today's episode, it is, of course, brought to you by Chime. We are in the holiday season. It is December, and taking care of your financial freedom and security is important, especially in this time when there are going to be additional expenses. And that's where Chime can help. Fee-free overdrafts up to $200. You can get paid up to 2 days early as well with direct deposit. You can learn more about this, of course, at chime.com/NBA. You get spotted on debit card purchases, cash withdrawals, no monthly fees, no maintenance fees, and over 50,000 fee-free ATMs available for Chime members. Chime has spotted members over $32 billion in transactions through SpotMe. Friends, give friends a boost. So enjoy the holidays while keeping your financial goals on track with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That is chime.com/NBA. Chime. It feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Direct deposit timing depends on submission of payment file. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs and for OTC withdrawals. Okay, let's get into the next game here, the fifth game of the day for Thursday. It is the Bulls and the Spurs, and this is the one where we did get that big news of Victor Wembanyama, and there was a report in the last game that he was walking around with a sore back in the locker room after the game, and this is the first of a back-to-back for the Spurs. So while it's annoying, very obviously, I'm not sure that it's anything more than just a little bit of soreness there, and let's keep him out of the first game of the back-to-back. The Bulls play Thursday, Friday, Sunday this week, so they got the back-to-back as well. And then they play Friday the week after, whereas the Spurs have got the Thursday, Friday into Sunday this week, into Friday, Sunday the week after. So a big gap of rest there. Patrick Williams is out. Kobe White is out for the Bulls. Lonzo Ball is out on the first game of the back-to-back. And Josh Giddey has popped up as questionable. Now, if with no Ball and with no Giddey, that is going to allow a lot more opportunities for Ayo Dosunmu there. And with Pat Williams out, Dosunmu was getting the boost there in place of him. But with Williams, Dosunmu, with Williams and White and Ball, and now maybe Giddey, Dosunmu is going to need to do a lot more guard stuff, which is going to open up Julian Phillips. But more importantly, it's going to open up Matas Buzelis, I think, as well. Now, Wembanyama is also out for the Spurs. Trey Jones is out. It appears that Devin Vassell will play this game, meaning that he probably doesn't play on Friday, although we don't know that for certain. So for the Bulls, I want to watch what they do with Matas Buzelis, because he was great last game, but he played like 21 minutes. And we got Phillips with 26. Does Buzelis get the nod? Do we get more minutes out of him? That's what I want to see, yeah? There are so many opportunities here for more Buzelis. For the Spurs, Devin Vassell, what do the minutes look like? Is he playing 30, 31? His usage and his scoring has been unbelievable so far, and now he plays a game without Wemby. And in terms of streams, Dosunmu's still there for the Bulls, but Buzelis is another option, and it could even open up further with Giddey out. And then for the Spurs, take your pick. You can choose Zach Collins, who'll get more minutes, but the guy who's the better per-minute producer is of course, Goldfinger, Charlie Bassey. So both unbelievable options as stream guys for the San Antonio Spurs with Wemby out. Bassey's got more risk associated because he plays limited minutes, but the upside is a lot bigger, I think. The next game we take a look at, we're going into not the San Antonio Suns, that's not the right team, it's the Phoenix Suns taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Suns go Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they also play Friday, Sunday the week after. The Pelicans are Thursday, Saturday, Sunday into Thursday, Sunday the week after. Nurkic is out, Kevin Durant is out for at least a week. Zion is out, Jose Alvarado is out, Jordan Hawkins is out for at least a week, but we might be getting the return of both Herb Jones and Brandon Ingram, which will complicate things, and we'll have a big level of concentration of what we need to do. We could be getting a rookie center matchup as well. Osei Ighodaro started in place of Nurkic last game, and I think there's a chance that he's able to start here and match up against Yves Missi for the Pelicans. Ighodaro and the Plumlee minutes and how that all tracks is something I want to watch. For the Pelicans, Trey Murphy's minutes and usage are through the roof. I want to see if that continues and how that looks, and then what happens if Herb and Ingram both play. Remember, Herb was not dealing with a lower body injury. Ingram is. So I don't think Herb's minutes are necessarily going to be limited, but somebody's going to have to come off the bench here. Is it Herb? Is it Trey? Is it CJ? Is it Missi? Somebody's coming off the bench. We need to find out who. Grayson Allen is probably the stream for the Suns, but you could throw Ighodaro, O'Neal, Deeper Leagues, Dunn, and Plumlee in that mix. And then for the Pelicans, Yves Missi is still available. I do have some concerns of a minutes crunch at some point, but for now we are going with him, and he should be on rosters at least for the foreseeable future. The next game is the Kings and the Grizzlies, and the old mates, the Memphis Grizzlies. What just happened? What the hell happened there? No idea what actually happened, but anyway, it's fixed. The graphic is up. Kings Grizzlies. Grizzlies are 4.5-point favourites there. Schedule-wise, it is Sacramento Thursday, Friday, Sunday into just the Thursday game next week. Yuck. And Memphis is Thursday, Saturday, Sunday into Friday, Sunday next week. Lyles is out. Devin Carter is out. Greg Jackson is out. Zach Edey is out. And Vince Williams is out. Malik Monk, what I want to watch with Malik Monk is minutes. Is he's going to remain as that 35-minute-a-night player? He's obviously a must-roster guy. We'll see how that tracks with Michael Brown. For the Grizzlies, Santi Aldama is shooting the absolute lights out. What's important to me there is his minutes. I think we'll get more of an impact or more of a view on the long-term Santi Aldama numbers when Zach Edey returns. But at the moment, in his 25, he's cooking. I don't trust the shooting at all, but he's been unbelievable. In terms of streams for the Kings, it is probably Fanapants Kevin Huerter, but do they bring Keon Ellis back into the rotation? And that limits Huerter? We will see. And then Marcus Smart's a pretty strong one, I think, there for Memphis. Let's go to the next game, which is the last game of the day, the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. Both of these teams are in the NBA Cup. I believe are they playing each other? I think they are. I think they're playing each other. Anyway, they play here again Thursday, Sunday. They play, that's the Rockets play Thursday, Sunday this week, and then they play Wednesday in the quarterfinal, and then we don't know, of course, what their next game is. It most likely, if they win, it'll be Saturday, and if they lose, it'll be Sunday. The Warriors are Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and they play Wednesday, and then either Saturday, Sunday after that. Jalen Green got poked in the eye and had some issues with vision. There's no official injury report on him at this point, but I've put him as questionable. And Draymond Green missed the last game with calf tightness. I don't have an update on that to see whether he's available. So what am I watching on the Rockets? It's been 2 absolute stinkers in a row from Amen Thompson, and minutes have been down. It's all about watching where those minutes lie for him. Is he he played 40 for 2 in a row before that? Is he a 23-minute guy? Is he a 29-minute guy? Is he a 32-minute guy? Or is Ime Udoka just going to move back and forward on that? We watched it. And then for the Warriors, Brandon Pajemski started the last 2 games. One was big minutes, one was low minutes. Is there any trust here? I don't know that there is. But in terms of streaming or trying it out, I think Pods is worth looking at. In terms of streams on the Rockets, well, it is probably Dylan Brooks, assuming that Eason and Thompson are rostered, which they should be. So we go with those guys. And then they did start Kevon Looney last game. Now, will they go with Looney and Green together if Draymond returns? They probably will. But Looney's at least worth looking at if Pods and Kuminga have been taken, which I would guess that somebody did go and grab those blokes. Let's take a look at some schedule-based shenanigans now. And we can look at the back-to-backs because Thursday, Friday is a day where there are back-to-backs. We've got 4 teams that play the back-to-back. It's Chicago, Golden State, Sacramento, and San Antonio. Plays the Thursday-Friday combination. So all of these guys are over 60% available on Yahoo. We go to Ayo Dosunmu with many opportunities for him to have value. No White, no Williams, maybe no Giddey. Julian Champagny with likely Vassell sitting one of those games and Wemby definitely sitting one. Unbelievably, the Pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. Now, Barnes might be terrible, and he is, but it's 2 games. He might play a combined 60 minutes in those 2 games. There'll be other absences, and they might get one good one. And that's sort of where you use him. We could look at Kevon Looney as well. You can look at Zach Collins and Charles Bassey. But the problem there with Bassey is that if Wemby does play on Friday, you might get 20 minutes out of him. Whereas Collins, you'll get 28 in one game and then maybe 15 in the other one. So you can weigh that up. So if you're talking single game only, Bassey's probably got more per minute upside. But if you're looking for the 2 games with more certainty, you'll get 40-ish out of Collins, and you might only get 18 out of Bassey. So that's a little bit of a different discussion. And then you've got the horse, of course, Mr. Ed. I didn't even mean to say it that way, but that's how it came out. Keldon Johnson is going to be someone that can use because they're going to be more shot attempts with Wemby out, and then probably Vassell out for the second game of that back-to-back. If we get chunky, which I know that you love the chunks, I know that's the sort of thing that you're into. We're talking about Thursday through to Monday, but with Sunday there is a 12-game day, so I'm not going to include that in there. But Ochai Agbaji and Juice McBride, Raptors and Knicks play 3 games on the days that are streamable over that time frame, remembering that the Knicks and Raptors are the only team that plays Monday. And both of those guys have got value. If we're looking for 2-game players, Dosunmu, Misi, Royce O'Neal, and Bilal Coulibaly, who has been dropped, rightfully so, but there's some streamability in these players during that time frame. Well, we can actually now bring back the 5s and 2s segment, and over the next 7 days, there aren't any teams that play 5 games, but there are some very, very weird and low game volumes. The next 8 teams that I read off play 2 games between Thursday to Wednesday, the next 7 days, the next week. Boston, Indiana, the Lakers, Miami, the Wolves, the Sixers, the Blazers, and the Jazz. 2 games the next 7 nights. But then as a little added bonus, you've got 3 teams who play 1 game in the next 7 nights. Brooklyn, Detroit, and the Clippers. So, good luck. That's all I'll say. And that's why if we're looking to stream in a Nets guy, you don't know who it's going to be, and they're just not going to play. There's one game in the next 7 nights for Brooklyn after Wednesday. It's not going to be worth it. Your Leaky Beasley's not going to be worth holding. Your Terrence Mann dealing with a broken hand, but do you care about Jordan Miller, Kevin Porter, Amir Coffey for one game in 7 nights? You shouldn't. You absolutely should not. Let's look at some streaming plays here now with the streams of the day for Thursday across the NBA. And I am going to give that option to Charles Bassey, understanding that there is risk. There is risk there. But this could be 12-7 with 4 blocks. But it might not be. But there's risk in it, right? If you want more security, then Zach Collins pushes up the top of that list. I've got Grayson Allen as the 12-team guy. I've got Zach Collins as the 14-team league guy. For 16-teamers, I've got Brandon Clark. But honestly, all of those guys have a little even 10-team appeal as a stream guy. For Yahoo points, Yves Missi sits there. And then the ESPN is Ayo Dosunmu. If I go look now at your 10-team category streams in general, there's Bassey, there's Grayson Allen, Zach Collins, Lou Dort, Brandon Clark, and Royce O'Neal. These guys are all 35% plus available using our advanced roster number over at Basketball Monster. For your 12-teamers, we use a 45% cutoff there. Bub Carrington's there. Value is increased because of absences. It would have been better with no Brogdon, but whatever. Kaysen Wallace, whose value rises if Caruso's out. Cody Martin, Juice McBride, Josh Green somehow slid in there, and Kevon Looney. And then for deeper leagues, we go to Ossie Gadaro and Mason Plumlee. There's Dylan Brooks, there's Jalen Wells for the Grizzlies, Tijan Salin with Miles Bridges out, and Fanapants Kevin Huerter. And just to finish this off, let's do some Yahoo Points League streaming, followed by ESPN. We got Yves Missi, Ayo Dosunmu, Bilal Coulibaly, Zach Collins, Charles Bassey, and Brandon Clark. And for ESPN points, Ayo Dosunmu, Yves Missi, Bilal Coulibaly, Charles Bassey, Zach Collins, and Grayson Allen. And that's a Thursday preview. If you enjoyed the Thursday preview, if you enjoyed the Waiver Wire show earlier today, you can just go ahead and give it a thumb. You can subscribe on both audio and video platforms. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Music, whatever. Google Podcasts. Do all of that stuff. And leave a comment. Leave a comment to yourself as well. Let's be positive. Let's keep ourselves moving forward, moving upwards, thinking, rewarding, criticizing, improving, but don't be down on yourself. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.